school students. I will now share the story of one of my friends from the Arab American Association of New York. This is Sarah's translated story. As an English language learner and parent of English language learners, the biggest problem I face is to support my children in their school. I live in Marriage, Brooklyn, which is home to the largest Arab American community in the state of New York. However, most of the schools there are not helpful when it comes to Arabic speakers who are English language learners. I feel frustrated and powerless when it comes to supporting my son at school due to the language barrier. I moved here alone with my son from Egypt 3 months ago after the problems in our country made it too difficult to stay. My son, Ali, is in high school. He works hard to keep up with his English class. The standard curriculum prevents my son's specific needs from being met. It also prevents him from building onto his strengths. Ali faces difficulty trying to meet the rigorous standards of his class. He wants an education that is just as rigorous as classes offered to his English-speaking peers, but one that is shaped around English language learning. I wish I could be more involved in supporting my son. I wish I could talk to teachers or communicate better at parent-teacher meetings. With no translators, it is difficult for me to engage at the level that I need to. I strongly support the Build the Bridge campaign and the recommendations shared by the New York Immigration Coalition.
Did you say you came 3 months ago? 3 months ago you came to school? And you came here for the hearing? That's amazing. I want to give you a round of applause. Next, please.
I'm from Brooklyn. I've been living here for 2.5 years. I'm a student at the Arab American Association of New York. I'm reading a testimony on behalf of another student, also Salma, who is a mother with children who are also English language learners. This is her translated testimony. My name is Salma. I feel sad and helpless when my children experience bullying in school due to their accent and because of their religious and cultural identity. I feel devastated when my 14-year-old daughter came home to me a few months ago in tears, telling me how a group of students at school yelled racial slurs at her and would pull off her hijab, a headscarf, as they mocked her. When my daughter tried to report this problem by telling school administrators, they brushed it off and said that this was just a matter of student arguing. I wish I could advocate for my daughter. I wish she felt safer at school, but it is difficult to do so because of the language barrier. I wish there were counselors and educators who had a more sensitive approach when it comes to responding to the problems students face, especially when it comes to bullying and discrimination against English language learners. I strongly support the Build the Bridge campaign and the testimony and recommendation shared by the New York Immigration Coalition. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so sorry that happened to you, Doris. When I was teaching, I had a boy, a Sikh boy, who came to the school and they teased him and they pulled off his turban. It was horrible. But we dealt with it very, I think, appropriately with the time. Although I would like to have some more resources to be able to explain why he was wearing the turban. But certainly we don't like to see this ever happen in our system. So I'm really sorry that happened to you, Doris. Very well. Thank you. Yes, please.
Hi, good evening.
মানুষ ইমিগ্রেট হয়ে আসে যারা ইংলিশে কথা বলতে তারা ইংলিশে কথা বলতে পারে না এটা দোষের নয়, ভাষার অধিকার আমার মানবাধিকার। আমাদের অধিকার আছে মায়ের ভাষায় কথা বলার। এডুকেশন ডিপার্টমেন্টের উচিত সকল কাগজপত্র সব ভাষায় ট্রান্সলেশন করা এবং ইন্টারপ্রেটার দেওয়া। ধন্যবাদ সবাইকে।
So her translation. My name is Samsung.
Roxanne, put your name in the record, on the record.
Sorry, Roxanne, I'm translating for Samsung Nahar. My name is Samsung Nahar. I'm the leader of DRUM, South Asian Organizing Center. DRUM builds the power of low-income South Asian adults and youth to fight for immigrant worker and education justice. We support the Build a Bridge campaign and the testimony and the recommendations shared by the New York Immigration Coalition. I am here today because I have a son in high school and a daughter in elementary school. I'm a newly arrived immigrant from Bangladesh and I'm raising my family in the Bronx. Bangla is my main language. I came to this country for my children to have a chance at a good education. The political situation in Bangladesh makes it very difficult for my kids to have that chance. I regularly attend parent-teacher conferences, information sessions, and workshops at my children's schools. The schools make no effort to provide interpreters for me or other parents who need it. Many of us are just sitting there and are upset at not having access to interpretation. This results in our inability as parents to discuss important concerns about our kids' education with the teachers. I've discussed the lack of involvement with other parents, and many of them have expressed to me that they feel ashamed at not being able to speak English, believing that they shouldn't try to express their concerns and engage in their kids' schools. I attend these workshops so that I can be involved with the progress of my children's education. But because I do not get the translation or interpretation at these workshops, I feel that my time is being wasted. I am a beauty salon worker, so when I take time out of my schedule to become involved in my kids' schools and I am not getting the services I need, it has an impact on how well they are doing in school and how much income I'm able to bring into my family and household to take care of them. For my children's education well-being, I want to be as informed as any English-speaking parent. But for this to happen, we need to have much more translation services. We need to hire interpreters that represent all diverse languages in our school system. I want to tell our education department that many immigrants come to this country and do not speak English, and that is fine. That should never be a problem. Language justice is a human right. It is our right to speak our native languages, and the education system should provide language access through translation and interpretation for all communities. Thank you. Or breadwinners for their families make the effort to engage in their schools, and they're not given the language justice that they deserve. It affects their household income, and it sends a clear message to immigrant families: you are invisible. You can either keep up or quit. Translation and interpretation services really need to become a completely normal and expected part